Part 163. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1621. At this moment, in the military tent, the 10 Black Iron Legion commanders under the command of the 308 Bronze Legion are all there, including the corresponding Black Iron Legion Inspector. Master Legion, this time the Dark Faction Legion attacked Xingyu Island. Fang Fan's inspector issued a call-up order and a call for help. If we don't go to help in the end, I'm afraid we won't be able to justify it. The person speaking was Mo Sang, the head of the 3rd Black Iron Legion under the 308th Bronze Legion, looking a little flustered. After all, this kind of thing really can't be brought up on the stage. If someone pokes it out, things will really explode. Humph. Is the head of Mo Zhang's Black Iron Army really that courageous now? What a big deal. Even if Fang Fan has some capable men and strangers under his command, so what? Could it be that the 50,000 elite soldiers of the Emperor's realm under his command can withstand an elite Bronze Legion of the Dark Camp? You know, there are a million Emperor Master Realm practitioners, plus a series of flying warships to assist in the attack. I think this time Fang Fan is really looking for his own death. Xianan, the supervisor of the 1st Black Iron Legion under the command of the 308 Bronze Legion, suddenly raised the corners of his mouth slightly, with a vicious look on his face, his eyes focused on the front, his body began to tremble unnaturally, and he seemed a little excited. After all, if Fang Fan, the bronze level inspector, is completely cold, he is very likely to be a substitute, and he will jump from a black iron level inspector to a bronze level inspector. What does Inspector Xianan say? Wenquan, the head of the 308 Bronze Legion, smiled slightly, and immediately sent out an inquiry. 308 Bronze Legion's number 1 Black Iron Legion Inspector Xianan secretly scolded the old fox in his heart, and then obediently raised his smile and said, "He, actually, this matter, the Hot Spring Legion leader probably knows it all too well, right?" Fang Fan's behavior has completely angered the head of the Bronze Legion of the Dark Camp, and more fierce battles are yet to come. Once the whole army of the Bronze Level Army from the Dark Camp attacks, that Fang Fan only has 50,000 elite soldiers of the Emperor's realm and a million cannon fodder of the real King's realm in his hands, which is simply vulnerable. By that time, I'm afraid the whole army will be wiped out. If the Bronze Rank Legion of the Dark Camp has not lost much after destroying Fang Fan's personal guard army, we will let them go, and there will be no loss. But if they suffer heavy losses, or if the Bronze Ranked Legion of the Dark Camp and Fang Fan's personal guards are both injured, then it's our turn to play. When the time comes, we will wipe them out. It not only eliminates our confidence troubles, but also destroys a bronze-level army of the Dark Camp, which is also a great achievement. And the reason why we were able to achieve such a brilliant record is all thanks to the wise guidance of the leader of the Hot Spring Legion. The 308th Bronze Legion's 1st Black Iron Legion Inspector, acting Archbishop Xianan, said. The expression on his face became more and more sinister. Hot Spring, head of the 308 Bronze Legion, remained calm, but the smile on his face could no longer be suppressed, and the will to laugh wildly was extremely real. This is the best ending. Cough. Acting Archbishop Xianan was just joking. If the Bronze Rank Legion of the Dark Faction is really wiped out by then, you will also contribute a lot. Without your advice, how could such a result be achieved? 308 The head of the Bronze Legion, Hot Spring, started a commercial exchange. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1622. But what if, Fang Fan's inspector, won a complete victory? When the time comes, what shall we do? We didn't go to rescue at all. What should Fang Fan do if the inspector blames him? When the time comes to report to the temple, how should we deal with ourselves? Mo Zhang, the head of the 3rd Black Iron Legion under the 308 Bronze Legion, gritted his teeth, feeling that it was still unreliable, and then proposed a brand new possibility. The laughing scene suddenly froze, and everyone in the military tent focused their eyes on Mo Zhang, the commander of the 3rd Black Iron Level Legion, each showing a cold look. Everyone is happy to boast about each other's business, isn't it good? Is there any need for you to do these things here? This possibility cannot be said to be completely non-existent, but it can be almost ignored. Can Fang Fan and his army wipe out a bronze-ranked army without much loss? Is this possible? Captain Mo Zhang Black Iron Army, you have talked too much today. If you feel uncomfortable staying in this position, you can tell me, and I can change you to an easier position. For example, there are still a lot of pigs on Xingyu Island that need to be fed. Wenquan, the head of the 308th Bronze Legion, said coldly, this is already a threat. Even the always cunning old fox began to show his bright fangs, which showed that he also felt that it was impossible to make mistakes. That's right, the leader of the Hot Spring Army is right. Besides, even if there is that possibility, we can say that we didn't hear the order, and it has nothing to do with us. Guangxi, the head of the 1st Black Iron Level Legion under the 308 Bronze Legion, smiled with a proud and casual look on his face. He felt that there was not much worth discussing here, and everything was normal. Didn't hear the order. There are still 100,000 people shouting outside. This is too fake. Mo Zhang, the commander of the 3rd Black Iron Legion under the 308 Bronze Legion, twitched the corners of his mouth, and said something secretly. After he finished speaking, he shut up completely, because he could feel that the leader of the Hot Spring Bronze Legion a face as dark as water. This wave was a complete offense to him. Mo Zhang sighed softly, feeling extremely helpless. He was born as a general, and he believed in the righteous way, but after he came to the 308 Bronze Legion, what did he do? As a soldier, it is an honor to die on the battlefield. But now, time and time again he was cheating, and speculating again and again. Even at the expense of his comrades. But under such circumstances, the constant rewards, this is what annoys him the most. Those who hold salaries for everyone should not let them freeze to death in the wind and snow. But now, Fang Fan inspectors are fighting to the death on the front line. They are here to talk about outstanding military exploits. Shame. What a shame. Mo Zhang clenched his teeth, this was contrary to his beliefs all along. He silently walked out of the central military tent, out of this shameful place. Listening to the roaring laughter that continued to come from the military tent, Mo Zhang smiled sadly. Light. We are the army of light. But why do I feel darker than darkness? Mo Zhang murmured to himself, glanced at the distant battlefield with continuous artillery fire, and subconsciously licked his lips. As a professional soldier, war is what makes his blood boil. Bathed in blood on the battlefield, listening to the roar of artillery fire, the soul of the whole person trembled and excited. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1623. A fiercer battle has begun. In the southern part of Xingyu Island, the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple, led by the head of the army, Du Hang, launched a full-scale attack. Kill them all. Leave no one behind. I will tell you today. In this battle, they must all be wiped out. Our 203rd Bronze Legion wants to take revenge. Take shame. Everyone. Attack me indiscriminately. Du Hang, the head of the 203 Bronze Legion in the Dark Temple, was wearing a golden armor, his eyes gradually turned blood red, and his gnashing of teeth was very real. Even if the first Black Iron Legion is disabled, there are still 900,000 people in the Black Temple 203 Bronze Legion at this moment. And all of them are the elite of the Emperor's realm. 1 3-star Sanctuary level small flying warship, 9 1-star Sanctuary level small flying warships, plus hundreds of quasi-holy class large flying warships. Congratulations to the fierce bombardment since it started. Yellow Turban Warlock Legion. Cast sacrifice call to summon skeleton soldiers to block the enemy. The low heavy machine artillery corps is responsible for bombing the flying warships and warships in the local area. The remaining 8 legions, each rush to fight. Deputy head of Huanggan, lead the human emperor's elite army to block the enemy on the left. Galen, lead the slave army to attack the right side. Saintess of the Sky Fox, attack with you. Fang Fan squinted his eyes, each of them made arrangements, and his thoughts were completely lifted at this moment. My lord, you have sent troops to the left and right, how can you guarantee your comfort? Also, there are too few troops left on the frontal battlefield, it's too dangerous. Let me stay and defend the frontal battlefield. Huang Gan, deputy head of the Emperor's Legion, gritted his teeth and insisted. Everyone knows that most of the enemy's artillery fire is launched on the frontal battlefield, so in a sense, the frontal battlefield is indeed the most dangerous, there is no doubt about it. A little carelessness may lead to total collapse. Fang Fan's safety is the top priority. Hee, don't worry, I still have 5 heroes and 4 gods beside me, and Nai Yan, Colorful Dragon Annie and the others. The key to this battle lies in the head of the owl. The overall strength of the enemy army is stronger than ours. If we fight head-on, even if we win, we will definitely suffer heavy losses. That's why it is necessary to kill the head of the Bronze Legion of this dark camp, so that the enemy's army will be distracted, and then they can be wiped out in one fell swoop. According to my order, act. Fang Fan gave a cold shout, and then flew directly to the God and Devil battleship. This God and Devil battleship was also drawn from the card before, and it belongs to the ranks of 1-star Sanctuary Realm battleships. However, the size of this God and Devil warship is much smaller than ordinary small flying warships, and it is more flexible when operating. With a slight movement of Fang Fan's mind, he was able to completely control this warship of gods and demons. The Legion of the Dark Temple is vulnerable. The divine battle in the Dark Temple is doomed to fail. The Temple of Darkness, the invincible general. Alas! Fang Fan used his spiritual power to deliberately spread the sound so that it could cover the entire battlefield. The purpose, of course, is to stimulate the generals of these dark camps so that they can enter the battle. In such a disadvantageous situation, if you can seize an opportunity to fight against the general, unless you can increase your own morale, you can also completely suppress the enemy's morale. There is no doubt about this. The fighting situation is gathering crazily. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1624. Asshole. This guy is just a mid-level quasi-sage, and he dares to be so rampant. Is the Temple of the Alliance of Light full of such nonsense priests? Head of the 2nd Black Iron Legion, go up and kill him. Just to make a warning to others. Du Hang, head of the 203 Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple, shook the golden armor on his body, with a look of indignation in his eyes. While yelling, he immediately ordered. Obey, Master Bronze Legion. I will definitely take it down in one fell swoop. The head of the 2nd Black Iron Legion under the Black Temple 203 Bronze Legion suddenly looked happy. This is all for nothing. Things that can be solved in minutes, you must know that he is a 1-star sanctuary. Against a mid-level quasi-sage, could there be any accidents? Seeing the enemy rushing towards a 1-star sanctuary level Black Iron Army leader, Fang Fan sighed lightly, which was expected, but it was more or less a pity. After all, from the perspective of the overall battle situation, if you can kill the bronze rank army commander of the Dark Temple in one fell swoop, it will be considered once and for all. You can't be too impatient about fishing. Eat the small fish, and the big fish will naturally take the bait. The corner of Fang Fan's mouth raised slightly, thinking secretly in his heart. Let me go, just give me 10 decoration cards. The colorful little female dragon Annie twisted her dragon body restlessly. When she saw a 1-star sanctuary level opponent, she thought she could crush it directly. Don't let such a good opportunity to ask for credit and reward be in vain. No, you don't need to take action this time, I'll just go. Fang Fan smiled slightly, he naturally had his own plan in mind. Cut. You are too picky. Otherwise, 5 decoration cards are also fine. No. 3. Give one and do it. The colorful little female dragon Annie began to cut prices crazily. Fang Fan's expression was bewildered. Is this little female dragon too busy recently? Fix these for me? I'll beat your brains open. Don't worry, you still have a big job to do later. If you finish it, I'll give you 100 decoration cards. As for now, just wait for me and don't move around. Fang Fan pursed his lips and said, and then he took off directly, preparing to fight against the 1-star sanctuary level Black Iron level army leader of this Dark Temple. Fang Fan has already made up his mind, he can't show too strong at the beginning. For example, the colorful little female dragon has to hide in the snow. And the head of the 1-star sanctuary level Black Iron level army who is fighting this Dark Temple must also destroy Gulaxio and show momentum. At least, you must fight the opponent's anger, so that you can make further arrangements. Vulnerable. Go to hell. The head of the 1-star sanctuary level Black Iron army who played in the Dark Temple has been watching Fang Fan's middle level quasi-sage cultivation base, and he is completely slack at the moment, and he never feels that there will be any accidents at all. Far away from the ground, Fang Fan suddenly smiled. This effect is what I want, and at this moment, it's perfect. The desire to kill is erupting in the condensation. The rage of the rage god. Fang Fan snorted secretly, and the arrogance around him violently surged. The effect of the magical skill Rage of the Rage God is to increase the combat power by 3 levels, and it lasts for 10 minutes. At this moment, Fang Fan is in the middle level quasi-sacred realm. After upgrading 3 levels, he will become a 1-star holy realm. At least there is no difference in level. As for combat power, Fang Fan also started to cheat a wave. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1625. Servant God, Share Strength. Fang Fan snorted secretly, and directly mobilized the power of Jax, one of the servant gods. The hero Jax is already a 1-star sanctuary at this moment, and Fang Fan's own 1-star sanctuary has completely raised his combat power to the peak of a 1-star sanctuary at this moment. Coupled with holding a 4-star holy sword, go forward indomitably. On the opposite side, the head of the 1-star sanctuary level Black Iron level Legion in the Dark Temple is still arrogant and arrogant. This is the best target. The moment Fang Fan's cultivation base and combat power skyrocketed, the 1-star sanctuary level Black Iron level Legion leader of the Dark Temple gradually woke up, but at this moment, it was already too late. No. It's not like this. How could it suddenly become so strong? What kind of blindfold did you use? The leader of the 1-star sanctuary level Black Iron level Legion of this Dark Temple trembled, and his eyes became more and more horrified as he spoke. At this moment, Fang Fan's sword has arrived. Clang. Click. Stab. The 4-star holy sword broke through the defenses around him, then broke through his sanctuary shield, and then pierced his heart and lungs, completely ending his life. All operations seemed so easy and freehand. Puff. You're cheating. I'm not reconciled, I'm not reconciled. The head of the 1-star sanctuary level Black Iron level Legion of this dark temple exhausted his last breath of strength to utter these words. Fang Fan curled his lips, feeling that there were 2 more holy cards and some star cores in the storage ring, and the smile on his face grew more and more. These are all treasury babies. Dark Temple, no one can fight me. Alas. The Dark Temple that has ended is vulnerable. Even if the Pope of the Dark Temple comes here, I can kill him with 1 sword. Fang Fan held his head up and looked at the sky at a 45-degree direction. Not to mention anything else, at least he had to establish a strong frame so that he could arouse hatred. In order to attract hatred, Fang Fan even pulled out the Pope from the Dark Temple. If a rational person sees Fang Fan's behavior, he will only silently say, "Sand sculpture," and then he can easily see that this is the worst way of aggressiveness. But under the rendering of this atmosphere at this moment, the authenticity is infinitely increased by 100 times and 1,000 times. Damn it! Asshole! Who wants to go up and kill him, and make a name for my Dark Temple? Make a name for my 203 Bronze Legion. Du Hang, the 203 Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple, made a violent noise, yelling, his eyes almost popping out. Enough humiliation has been suffered today. Just now everyone was still filled with righteous indignation, but now someone needs to fight on the field, and the sanctuary powerhouses of the 203 Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple began to pretend to be stupid. These Black Iron level Legion commanders think that their cultivation and combat power are similar to those of the Black Iron level army leader who was beheaded by Fang Fan before. If you rush up now, don't you seek your own death and embarrass yourself? The eyes of the middle-aged man in golden armor scanned the surrounding area. Seeing the submissive looks of these generals under his command, he suddenly became angry. Of course, he also knew that sending them up would most likely end up on the street, there is no doubt about that. In his opinion, Fang Fan is the peak combat power of the 1-star sanctuary realm, and has not yet been promoted to the 2-star sanctuary realm. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1626. An existence that is not even a 2-star sanctuary, what right does it have to be arrogant in front of him? A bunch of trash. I'll kill him myself. Du Hang, the head of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple, gave a cold snort, his eyes flickered with brilliance, and as he shouted, the mad killing intent in his eyes became more and more intense. Master Bronze Legion, you still have to stay and command the battle, so you just go up like this, isn't that good? In case of any accident, it will be a disaster for the entire Legion. The inspector of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple frowned, and then advised from the side. Is it? So let these cultivators of the light camp humiliate me to their heart's content. The most important thing is, being humiliated like this, there is no reaction at all. Waste. This is the biggest waste. They must be made to pay the price they deserve. There is no doubt about this. If the inspector thinks that my battle is not conducive to the situation of the battle, how about you go? Du Hang, the head of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple, said with more and more sarcasm on his face. As soon as this remark came out, it completely blocked the words of the bronze-level inspector. It was so obvious that it was a slap in the face, and it was an extremely loud slap in the face. After the slap in the face, everything fell silent, and there was no need to say anything else. Snort. A bunch of trash. Du Hang, the head of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple, cursed again, then leaned out of the flying battleship alone, and rushed towards Fang Fan's direction. Fang Fan secretly breathed a sigh of relief. All the layout is just for this moment. After acting for so long, I finally got this guy to perform. If he comes out like this, then everything will be fine. As for what to do next and how to choose, that is your own choice. Fang Fan thought so far, and the smiles on the corners of his mouth grew more and more, just at this moment. Annie. It's your turn. This is a big fish. The leader of the Bronze Legion in the 3-star Sanctuary realm, as long as he is killed, it is equivalent to half of the victory. Fang Fan thought to himself, and at the same time glanced around. His eyes became sharper and sharper. From the perspective of the overall battle situation, the battlefield on the left and the battlefield on the right can only be said to be barely supported. Relying on the combat power of individual legions such as the Blood Shura Legion, the Low Heavy Machine Artillery Legion, and the Yellow Turban Typing Warlock Legion, they were able to barely maintain the battle situation, but only barely. If you are not careful, it is very likely that the entire disc will collapse. The head of the Bronze Legion must be wiped out as soon as possible. An extra second of delay now will increase the casualties by hundreds. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes, took a deep breath, and his mind was boiling. Daji. Get ready to control the skills and use them at any time. Fang Fan followed with a dark shout. His eyes gradually became sharper, his hands were clenched tightly, and the corners of his mouth raised silently. Annie, Vega, Jax, Kyle, Caitlin. Once Daji controls the enemy, attack them all. There must be no accidents. It must be killed with one blow. Fang Fan clenched his fists and whispered to himself. The state at this moment seemed very real. This is by far the method with the least loss in order to win the battle. Casualties cannot continue to expand. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shuyu. Chapter 1627. Obey my lord. All the heroes nodded their heads, looking very dignified. As for the colorful little female dragon Annie, she has been talking about the 100 decoration cards. Fang Fan's head is full of black lines. Damn the little bishop of the Temple of the Alliance of Light, let you feel what cruelty is today. Dare to provoke the legion of my dark temple. It's beyond self-control. Die. Go die. Du Hang, head of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple, raised his mouth silently, his face gradually showing excitement. He felt that his chance had come. As long as he kills the dead little bishop in front of him, he can become the focus of the audience. And the Bronze Legion under his command will also be inspired. At that time, everything will proceed according to the expected mode and channel. He will be able to lead his elites to completely wipe out this hateful group of light camp troops, and even lead the victorious army to completely wipe out the entire light camp army on Xingyu Island, capture this stronghold, and win the first victory, and then increased official status. Rewards continue. Du Hang, head of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple, thought in his heart, and the smiles on his face grew more and more. The knife in his hand was about to fall on the top of Fang Fan's head. Everything seemed to be running according to the established track. It gave people an inexplicable sense of shock. It's just that his knife suddenly froze in the air, unable to fall anymore. Holding the sword firmly, the whole person fell into a momentary state of confusion, then opened his mouth, and fell silent again. Why can't I move? Damn it! What did you do to me? Kill. I'm going to kill you. Du Hang, head of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple, naturally had no chance to say these words, so he could only stare at Fang Fan viciously at this moment, and silently made great wishes in his heart. Thinking of this in my heart, the resentment on my face became more and more, my thoughts vacated, and everything fell into silence. The corner of Fang Fan's mouth raised slightly. Daji's idle charm skill can directly control practitioners who are no higher than her 3 levels for 1.5 seconds, this is an invincible magic skill. Focus fire attack. Fang Fan roared immediately, this is the most crucial moment, there must be no accidents. Rumbling. A thunderbolt in the clear sky, the crazy attack begins from now on. The dragon flicks its tail. The colorful little female dragon Annie roared, and rushed forward as the main force. As a 3-star sanctuary, her combat power was not much worse than Du Hang, the head of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple, and this Du Hang was still in the full control over status. The control time of 1.5 seconds is enough for the colorful little female dragon and Shenlong to wag her tail many times, and it is equivalent to directly attacking Du Hang, the head of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple several times. Basically not dead, but also crippled. And at the end there is a patch. Dark Priest. Distortion Space. Energy Burst. Vega's dark magic then fell, completely wrapping Du Hang, the head of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple, and dealt a fatal blow. The power of a master. Jump and chop. The hero Jax couldn't bear to fall behind, so he rushed over and launched an attack. Let the bullets fly. Headshot. Boom. A howling bullet from Caitlyn's gun barrel struck him in the head and went straight through. Holy flame. Liquidation. Kyle brandished the angel sword and launched a lingering attack. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shuyu. Chapter 1628. The control time of 1.5 seconds passed quietly. Du Hang, the head of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple, who was originally alive and well, has completely fallen into a state of death. No. No. Impossible. Puff. Du Hang, head of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple, exhausted all his strength and said such a sentence, and then his body fell rapidly like a kite with a broken string, and the falling speed became faster and faster. Dead, dead, the head of the Bronze Legion is dead. The enemy knows magic. They know magic. They can make the leader of the Bronze Legion unable to move. Hiss, they are demons, incarnations of demons. The leader of the Bronze Legion is a 3-star sanctuary, how could it be? What should we do? Master Du Hang is dead, should we continue to fight? I don't know. Why doesn't our chief speak, giving orders? I'm going, the enemy's attack has become more ferocious. Let's get out, I can't stand it any longer, I'll give you a hammer. The Legion commander is dead. Even if this war has achieved an unprecedented victory, what is the point? It means nothing. It is worthless. Evacuate at full speed. Go, let's go together. Morale is illusory, invisible, and intangible, but it is a real thing. When Du Hang, the head of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple, was still there, his golden armor was a vivid symbol, which could bring some sense of faith and excitement to the soldiers of the Legion under his command, and then they would be able to fight more bravely. Fighting. To launch an urgent attack. But when Du Hang, the head of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple, is completely cold, what awaits them will also be fear and horror. Completely erupted in the torment, completely boiled. Completely lost the idea of fighting. Don't run away. No one is allowed to escape. The inspector is still here. You dare to run away? I will send you all to the court of the temple. Damn. Attack me. Attack me. The head of the Bronze Legion is dead, but I, the Bronze Inspector, are still here. Kill. Kill me. The dark gods are staring at you at the end of the heavens. Do you want your souls to return to hell? Warriors of the Dark Temple. Fight with me to the end. We fight for the dark gods, we are honored. On the 3-star Sanctuary class small flying battleship, the inspector of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple let out roars, trying to restore the situation of losing ground. Of course, it's not without effect. Those dark believers who have faith in the dark god stayed behind, and they are still sticking to it. However, the degree of belief required for this is a bit high, and none of the soldiers with such a high degree of belief. What awaits them is only bloody butcher knives and killings. Surround this flagship. Follow me into this flagship, kill. I want to capture this flagship. Fang Fan drove the God and Devil battleship directly towards the direction of the 3-star Sanctuary level small flying battleship in the Dark Temple. A 3-star Sanctuary class small flying battleship, Fang Fan is also very envious. To win it, in a sense, it is equivalent to having an extra 3-star Sanctuary realm combat power under his command. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1629. Fang Fan was naturally reluctant to destroy such a weapon of war. Stop them for me. Stop them for me. Bastards. A bunch of bastards. How did they rush in? Fire! Fire! Drive them all out. Huh, definitely don't let them in. Cao Dion, the inspector of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple, showed horror on his face. At this moment, Fang Fan had already entered the battleship riding the colorful little female dragon Annie. Caudian Bronze Inspector, no. Can't fire, this kind of reverse firing is very likely to bombard us. Master Caudian Bronze Inspector, I think it's better to evacuate with a battleship. As long as we stay away from this place, we still have hope, there is still some hope. In the crowd, a Black Iron Rank Legion commander shouted hastily. Retreat? No. Can't retreat. Absolutely can't retreat. Once we retreat, we will definitely lose our troops, who will bear this loss? No. No. Absolutely not. Hold on. Hold on to me. If anyone dares to evacuate at this time, I will kill him directly. Cao Dion, the inspector of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple, was covered with cold sweat on his forehead, and the light green clothes of the acting Dark God Envoy on his body were already soaked in sweat. Now Du Hang, the head of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple, is dead. He is the highest ranking existence of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple. He must support the main beam. But looking at it from the perspective of everyone, it is really unbearable now. If it continues, it will be considered inhumane. Fang Fan stood on this 3-star Sanctuary class small flying battleship, and couldn't help but smile on his face. When he came here, this 3-star Sanctuary class small flying warship was almost his. Vega, Kyle, form a team and start attacking from the left. Jax, Caitlin, start sweeping from the right side of the battleship. 4 favorites, and Annie, follow me and stab directly from the front. The corners of Fang Fan's mouth raised silently. There used to be tens of thousands of people on this small 3-star Sanctuary class flying battleship, but now they are all running away. The scattered resistance was basically shocked by Fang Fan's bloody massacre. Stop drinking. And from the surrounding area, Fang Fan still has a steady stream of reinforcements, and this small 3-star Sanctuary class flying battleship does not have reinforcements from the Dark Temple. All the way to kill, it is basically a one-shot kill. Although Fang Fan has now passed the 10-minute deadline for the magical skill of Rage God's Fury and has been beaten back to his original form, the colorful little female dragon and under his seat is a genuine 3-star Sanctuary. Ding Tian on this battleship is just a few 1-star Sanctuary realm practitioners. Seeing that the battle situation had completely collapsed, Cao Dion, the inspector of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple, narrowed his eyes, then gritted his teeth. His face gradually revealed a look of determination. I surrender. I surrender. According to the God War Treaty, you need to treat the prisoners preferentially. I am the acting Dark Angel of the Deputy 4th Grade of the Dark Temple. You need to give me humanitarian care. Cao Dion, the inspector of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple, suddenly raised his hands and directly chose to surrender. Fang Fan, who was about to give up the final attack of destruction, was suddenly amused, and it became more and more interesting. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1630. You, give me an order for everyone under my command to stop resisting. Fang Fan squinted his eyes and glanced at Cao Dion, the supervisor of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple. According to his self-report, he is a cleric of the 2nd rank of the Dark Temple, and his status is not low. Very high, only 1-star sanctuary realm. I am a prisoner now, I have no right to order them. Cao Dion, the inspector of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple, held his head high and didn't cooperate at all. He even felt that he was complacent as a prisoner. Fang Fan directly placed the holy sword around his neck, and then said silently, "Say you." Fang Fan closed his eyes secretly. His patience was really going to be exhausted. The reason why this guy is still kept is because he wants to reduce some of his own losses and achieve greater results. Once the soldiers of these dark camps choose to surrender, it will be a huge reward, and more importantly, those flying warships flying all over the sky are all his. Such a good deal. Of course, we still have to continue to do it, so it's really a pity to give up like this. What do you want? Do you want to violate the Treaty of God War? Don't you fear the divine punishment of the gods? According to the provisions of the God War Treaty, I have given up resistance. At this moment, I am already a prisoner. If you kill me, I have the right to maintain the lawsuit against you. Cao Dion, the inspector of the 203rd Bronze Legion of the Dark Temple, babbled a lot, and Fang Fan took a breath, feeling dizzy for no reason. Can the nonsense be a little less? Aren't you tired of talking so much nonsense? So, you are determined not to cooperate? And, are you still doing some tricks to attack me? Fang Fan glanced at the restless hands of the Dark God Envoy of the Dark Temple, and smiled sarcastically. Humph. I am a priest of the Dark Temple. I am a believer of the Dark Gods. I will never give in because of this. I am willing to fight for the Dark Gods. Click. Fang Fan directly swung the holy sword in his hand and slaughtered him. At the same time, 20,000 contribution points were directly added to his bright contribution order. If you kill a 1-star to 3-star sanctuary cultivator from the Dark Camp, you can get 10,000 contribution points. And this guy is also the acting Dark God Envoy of the Dark Temple, and he is considered to have a priesthood, so he rewarded another 10,000 contribution points. Fang Fan thought in his heart, then nodded secretly. He could fully understand the meaning of this after a little feeling. Relatively speaking, this rule is not bad. Of course, for Fang Fan, beheading a cultivator in the sanctuary, in addition to the rewards of relevant contribution points, there are also cards and star cores that explode. Dozens of star cores is better than nothing. I don't have a single holy card, just 2 quasi-holy cards, too shabby. Fang Fan curled his lips and sighed secretly in his heart. Your Bronze Legion commander and Bronze Overseer are dead. Choose to surrender, I can save your life. Otherwise, shoot and kill them all. Fang Fan soared above this small 3-star sanctuary-class flying battleship, and then he yelled at the bottom, with ample aura and majestic battle momentum. The battle has come to an end, and it will be over soon.